What's up, guys? Archaic Zeus bringing you another Mass Effect 3 Firing Range, Episode 5. Buongiorno. So we've done sniper rifles for 2 weeks, we did heavy pistols 1 week, and we did shotgun 1 week, the Claymore. So I figured we would change it up a little bit, again, and do assault rifles this week. It's going to be another versus, although it's going to be more of a comparison than a versus, really, because a lot of the assault rifles over there are good. Bringing out my Southern Mason-Dixon line board of thing coming out. Alright, anyways, moving on. Oh, don't you love when that shit happens? Anyways, moving on, the versus for this week, or comparison, I should say, is the Mattock and the Sabre. So let's take a Mattock. We can take a Mattock too. Take a look at the Mattock first, guys. The Mattock is a single-fire weapon that can be found in veteran packs, most likely. It is uncommon. Manufacturers unknown, as it normally always is. But, anyways, back to the stats. The damage is kind of crappy on the single target, but the all plus, because of how fast you can fire this thing, that is the absolute joy in it, is how fast you can fire. You can basically shoot it as fast as you can pull the trigger. So 450 rounds per minute is a lot, really, and that's maximum. So it's pretty crazy. Let me explain the all plus real quick for the damage. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Damage all plus for a second would be the raceability, cloak, headshot bonus, rail amp, and the extended barrel damage amplifier thingamabobberdoodle thing. Clip size is the extended magazine thingamadoodle thing, and the rate of fire is increased with marksman. Now, let me re-explain the damage to armor, because my source was wrong in calculating it. It used to be 0.5, and then I found it was just a flat rate of 50. So, instead, you would just subtract 50, and then continue on with the progression of stats from there on out. So I did not do DPS, because I figured, comparison-wise, it wouldn't matter all that much. So, damage for armor is pretty bad. It's a big problem with the Mattock, is that it loses so much damage because it is a low damage weapon, but it does so much DPS, which is damage per second, in case you didn't know that, just in case, because the rate of fire is so high. Now let's move on to the Sabre. The Sabre is a very high caliber, high damage weapon, coming out at almost, I'd say about as, I think I remember, about as much as like the Valiant does or something like that. The weight is a lot more, the DPS is less, however, just because of one thing, the rate of fire. Now if you look down in the second to last grid thing there, bababber thing, a doodle thing, that thing, yeah, the minimum fire speed, the minimum refire speed is actually what it's called. That basically means you have to wait a certain amount of time until you can refire your gun, which makes sense. So the minimum refire speed is 0.75 seconds. You have to wait 3/4 of a second until you can fire your gun again and fire off another bullet. Again, I use the Turian Soldier skill Marksman to calculate the maximum fire rate and shit like that. The recoil is also reduced, which I used to calculate with the Marksman as well. Now, if we just take a look here real quick, the damage to armor is a big contributing factor, due to the fact that we lose very little. If you remember the Mattock 2 seconds ago, you lost almost half of your damage. In this, you only lose about 500 damage. That's pretty good, considering you still do over 4,000 a shot, you know, if you hit him in the head, of course, with the Sabre. So, between all these contributing factors, well, let's make our decision first. Final verdict. I personally, again, personal preference, can make this very, very clear. 100% personal preference, as always. It just depends on what gun you personally are better using. Me, personally, I prefer the Sabre, because I feel like a badass using this thing. You are firing off a cannon in your hand. When you're using the Marksman with the Turian Soldier skill thing, I'm a bobberdoodle thing, you do a lot. It feels awesome. You are just firing this thing out, and it is a bazooka. It is so much fun to use, and I just feel better using it, and guns I feel better using, I perform better with. So I personally prefer the Sabre, however you might prefer the Mattock. Both guns, however, require extreme accuracy and extreme patience, I would say, I guess, just to learn how to get those headshots every single time. I don't know if you can hear me snapping, probably not. Maybe if you could, I apologize, it's probably irritating. But, moving on. So, I already said the Mattock can be found in veteran packs. It is uncommon, manufacturers unknown. The Saber, we actually have a manufacturer. Holy shit. Systems Alliance. No, I think it's the humans. I don't know. Who gives a shit? Anyways, this is an N7 weapon, which is also another bit of a problem, considering you can get a Mattock 10 quite easily, whereas you can get a, getting a Saber 10 is not quite as easy. So the Saber 10, not as easy to acquire, considering you have to get it through Spectre packs, and it is an N7, which makes it very rare. So, without that hanging over my head, I still say Saber is my preferred gun, because like I said, you feel like a badass. Doing it like Batman. Thank you guys so much for liking. You could like it too. That'd be a positive thing for me, I guess. Thank you so much for watching, though. If you liked it, which you should, please like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. So, thank you so much for watching again, as I say 3,000 times at the end of every video. Ciao.